We're live.
And we're live. We both sound so depressed.
I needed that laugh because I'm pretty sure that was not the intro that people were expecting.
Not. I feel like that accurately describes our mental state at the moment.
It's just like I'm laughing out of delirium. I just want everyone to know that. Like, I'm laughing out of delirium.
So, how did you spend your night last night?
Going to bed super early.
Oh my God. Okay. I have spoken to so many people. It's gotta be like we were all on the same page because first of all, I completely refuse to watch any election coverage. Okay. I watched a movie. I can't even remember what movie I watched. That is how like checked out I am. But I was just like, nope, I'm not watching election coverage. So I watched a movie and like literally stayed on the couch until I could feel my eyes closing. And then I went to sleep at like 10 p.m. I didn't check anything. I didn't look at anything. I was talking to my mom and she was like, oh, we have the election coverage on here. And I was like, oh, I don't want to know.
Yeah, I've had to specifically tell people like I refuse. I'm not doing this today. Like if you want to talk about anything else, we can talk about that. So
I know.
That's why we're here for this podcast because we're like, hi guys, we feel everything y'all are feeling. So like let's laugh a little, let's joke a little. This is NaNoWriMo month.
Yes.
And I see that somebody already said that they did some nano writing yesterday and started reading a book. So I feel like to the people that are writing, that are participating in NaNoWriMo, like, how are y'all doing?
NaNoWriMo has been saving me.
Really?
Because I write from 5 a.m. until 6 a.m. every single day. And so it starts off my day with something that I really enjoy. So right out the gate, my day starts off on a high note because I just did something that I'm really enjoying and passionate about. And that's for me. And then however else the day goes, at least it started off with me doing something for me that I love. And so it's kind of been saving my mental state so far.
That's good. I mean, I did some adulting. I started planner production. So basically, I've just been printing every night until my printer basically starts cussing me out.
I cannot.
And then, like, I let it cool off for the rest of the day. So, like, after this, I'm going to print until either, well, I'm not going to get done tonight because I'm printing the monthly pages and the basic planner. Yeah, the basic planner monthly pages is a little bit a lot. So,
right.
I'm on that section right now. I think so far I've got fully printed out. I've gotten at least 12 planners printed out completely.
Okay.
So we got to get the other, whatever number is left from this first pre-order. And then one day I'm going to just put on like 101 on Netflix and just cut all the paper and then sit there and punch holes in all of them because this one woman show thing, listen,
there's a lot.
There's a reason why this last pre-order is not going to happen until after Christmas because I already recruited my parents. Like, for everybody who orders a planner in the second pre-order, like, your package is going to come with an extra sticker that says packaged by because my family will be recruited. And for some reason, they feel like y'all should know which one of them packages.
That is so cute.
They're so extra. So I'm just like,
bring in the family support. Also, if you're here right now, please give this live a thumbs up if you haven't already. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, y'all. So y'all know Legendborn was on my anticipated reading list from last year.
Don't spoil it for us.
I'm not spoiling it, but all I'm gonna say is I gotta go back and look at the anticipated reads that I made last year so I could look and see how many of them have I actually read. And then like I need to like decide like which one was good. But Legendborn is hitting. I don't know if it's because I am so anxiety ridden that like I just need a story to take my mind off of it. But this story and I have been together since yesterday, and I'm already like 280 something pages in. And this is the only time I'm listening to it or reading it is at work. Like yesterday, I was at work and I couldn't concentrate. And then I'm having massive computer issues because I do work for the federal government. And let's just say everything's cheap. So while I was waiting for the help desk, I was like, let me just read this book. I bought it with me. I need to just read the book. Listen, I got to like chapter like 17 yesterday. And I was like, all right, this book might be a little good. I like it's holding my attention. Like there are some other books. One day we will sit on here and talk about the books that I felt like didn't deserve the hype and they only got hype because they were written by Black people. One day we will have that conversation, but this book so far is not falling into that category.
That's exciting.
I'm so like right now in my mind, I was like, maybe I could read it while we podcast.
No, ma'am. No. No, ma'am.
I mean, I'm not doing it.
Why do you say it like that? Like, I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it. I'm actually like, I got a new printer. So, you know, I'm testing out printer quality and all that stuff. And I'm trying to adjust the colors. So that's taking a little bit of time. I'm doing admin stuff while we podcasting because
that's more acceptable.
Podcasts allow me to run a business and still talk to you guys.
Right. Multitasking at its finest.
Oh, crap. We forgot. So our lovely Troy-Nicole is a little busy right now with something far more important than this podcast. So she's not going to join us tonight, but this isn't one of those podcasts where like we're having an extreme conversation. Though, speaking of extreme conversations, if you have not checked out the last podcast that we did, it was with Ochuole and Noria from the Chronicles of Noria, and it was all about Nigeria and the situation within SARS. I warn you now, maybe you shouldn't watch it this week.
Yeah, don't do that to yourself.
Because all of us were crying. All of us. Like I was in the background. I was the person putting up trigger warnings and all that stuff. Like we were all crying. So this is not the week to watch it or listen to it. But I highly recommend you go back and check that one out because it's really informative. And it's just a bunch of stuff that you will never get off the news.
Never.
And every time I think about it, I'm like, oh, Lord.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But it's so important to get the awareness out, to get the word out about SARS and what's going on. So we'd highly recommend you watch it next week. Maybe like midweek towards the end of next week. Allow yourself to come down from this week.
Right? It's like, listen, we're here to make you smile. So like let's also I know we said we're talking about everything but waiting for the results. But can I just rant for a second about some of these privileged dumb people?
Uh-oh.
Because I wrote on let me just read it off because I have multiple. Let me just read off my Instagram because I got from this girl talking about, oh, like this is just politics. Like you need to love people. Like they were good people before. Why aren't they good people now? So me being who I am.
Oh my God.
I'm going to quote James Baldwin. We can disagree and still love each other unless your disagreement is rooted in my oppression and denial of my humanity and right to exist.
Speak it.
Then I said, it's a whole lot of people claiming as long as you are a good person. Nah, F that. That's a privilege.
It is.
To sit there and be able to ignore the mistreatment of others because you aren't affected is just wild. Like I told somebody, I had a friend, we're not friends anymore because of this whole situation. And I told her, I was like, basically, to me, your vote is saying you smile in my face and you call me the N-word at the dinner table.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that's what it is. It's like there's no in between for me. It's like it must be nice to be able to think, and or to the idiots that are like, well, I'm going for him because he supports abortion, or he's anti-abortion. Y'all put so much emphasis on abortion. One issue. Majority of the people that are anti-abortion can't even have kids anymore, have gone through menopause and can't even literally produce dust at this point.
Stop. It's not dust.
I'm serious. Like, it's the old people that want to tell us what we can do with our uterus. But that's like, oh yeah, I mean, he's an open bigot. He's totally against this. He's totally against that. But he's anti-abortion. So that's why I voted for him. Meanwhile, y'all would shoot all of my kids if I had them and claim that they were criminals and deserve to be killed in their own front yard.
Oh, dear Lord.
There are orphanages full to capacity. Nobody is fostering children. There are parents having children and just treating their kids like utter trash. You don't care about them. But as long as they're in my uterus, all of a sudden that's good enough to vote for garbage. Like, I was like, you know what? It's cool, because this also applies to my brothers and sisters that share the same skin tone as me but aren't my kinfolk. This applies to them as well. The very large Hispanic community that has also decided that for some reason the man who built his platform on trying to create or paint them as criminals is the one they should vote for. Same thing. I don't got time for this. And to all the people shocked that, oh no, white women did it again. White women have never been on our side.
Oh my God, Britney.
They only are on our, like, the majority of white women are only on our side. I will say majority because I have seen a lot more white people step up this year than I have in a very long time. Yes. Like, I have seen I've seen a shift, a more positive shift, but like the majority of them are married to bigots.
Yeah. I mean, people vote their party line. I'm in a weird place because I live in a red state, and like,
me too.
A lot of my friends are Republicans. Not a lot. A lot is an exaggeration. But some of my friends are Republicans, and so we've had these conversations before, and we're able to have open dialogue because, for example, I have one friend who she's just always going to vote Republican. Her whole family votes Republican. Obviously, they're privileged in the sense of socioeconomic status. They're privileged in the sense of the fact that they're Caucasian. So they just always vote a Republican, and that's how they always vote.
Mm-hmm.
And me and her always have this conversation where I'm just kind of like, yeah, but doesn't it give you pause that you're voting for someone who is so bigoted and doesn't even want to hide it, that's so hateful, doesn't even want to hide it, but it's almost like this weird world they live in, because they're just like, well, no, like, that's just the liberal media. Like, that's
listen.
Yes, his statements are taken out of context.
You still friends with them?
Yes.
Dang, I can't read them.
Well, they support Black Lives Matter. It's weird.
How do you support Black Lives Matter and then claim that his bigotry is liberal media?
Well, they also feel like he supports Black Lives Matter and he's not against it.
Oh, he can
word for word. I can't. He's not against it. He's never said he's against it. So it's a weird thing for me because I've had to like have these conversations with people where I'm just kind of like, we just don't see eye to eye on this. And I mean, obviously I'm still friends with them because they're not racist or bigoted. And it's interesting because their viewpoint is, I just hate that everyone assumes that I'm a racist or a bigot because I'm a Republican or because I voted for Trump. And I don't even tell people because I know that they're going to judge me and automatically just think, oh, you're just this white racist person. And I was just like, this is interesting.
I find it funny that, they feel that it's not safe to reveal their political choice.
They don't think
it's
safe.
At this very same time would shoot my daddy dead in the street and claim he was fighting the police. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, you cannot do both. You cannot do both in this situation.
It's a weird cognitive dissonance because it's like, okay, well, everything that Trump has done that is reprehensible, and that proves that he doesn't have a good moral fiber. Not even like, let's take it outside of him even just being qualified to do the job.
I mean,
Like,
yeah, because he's not.
He doesn't have a good moral fiber. He doesn't have a good character, and he clearly is a narcissist and sociopath. I could go on, but to them, they're like, oh, well, he just says it like it is. He's just not going to sugarcoat things.
I'm like,
he's just not going to hide things.
Don't like, say it like it is. Okay.
And they're just like, he's not a politician. So he's just going to speak it like it is. He's not going to hide.
Also, like, can we point out how they use that as a good thing?
Yes, they do. And I'm like, but
he's not a politician. That's the problem.
Are you listening to the words he's saying though? Are you actually hearing him? And it's like, oh, well, the liberal media has painted this picture. And I'm just like, oh, Lord. So whenever someone starts talking to me about the liberal media, I'm not saying that the media is not out to deceive us in some ways. That's not what I'm saying. The
media is trash.
But like, they are definitely biased.
Yeah.
One way or another. And they're trying to paint a picture. But I'm just saying that whenever I hear those words, when I'm trying to have a dialogue with someone from an opposing party, I already know that they're not really willing to hear anything I have to say.
Facts. I mean, so to be clear, I'm not either party. I'm not Democrat or Republican. Both don't treat Black people with the respect and honor that we deserve. So I'm not either party.
I know. I really need to unregister because I'm still registered as a Democrat, and I actually want to re-register myself as an independent. But
yep, that's what I am. I registered as an independent.
But yeah, it's been interesting because I've had very interesting, like, for example, I know one person who's a Republican that literally only voted for Trump because they feel like financially it will serve them better than voting for Biden.
Also, can we just point, let me just, why all the broke people thinking Trump cares about them financially?
They're just like, well, Biden is going to raise taxes and we're going to have more social
were only going to affect the 1% that taxes don't affect right now. Like, how, like, do the research if you're going to spew the foolery, because all of us don't make enough money. Like, Trump gave y'all $1,200. Then that was supposed to somehow get y'all through a pandemic. That was like $5 a week.
I know.
Like, to me, I'm always just like, let's have a real, if you're going to come at me and try to tell me all these reasons that Trump will be good, give me facts, because you're actually pulling from the same media that you claim is liberal to push this false narrative.
The false narrative.
I was like, oh, well, he's done a lot for HBCUs. I was like, the only thing he's done is threaten the funding of HBCUs.
People don't do a research. What I find is that whatever party people support, like hardcore, they'll just take what's spoon-fed to them as fact, and they won't fact check, and they won't go behind and say, okay, let me look this up. Did this really happen? Just like, when people say, oh, well, Trump didn't mean that, or that was misconstrued, or this was taken out of context. I'm like, I always go and I'm like, but I saw the full like press release when he like went in on this reporter, and I saw this video in its entirety, and it is what it's like, I'm always trying to see, because I like to play devil's advocate, and I always like to be like, okay, well,
you're better than me.
Let me assume that like this is true, like what my Republican friend or acquaintance has told me. I'm just gonna, okay, let me try to see it from their point of view, and let me go and see what they're talking about. And I'm just like,
like, it always cracks me up when they do that, because I'm just like, I was like, I didn't just watch the clip, I watched the whole thing.
Yes.
So I can gather the context. And he said what he said because his publishers has tried to be like correct him multiple times, and he would get on Twitter and be like, that's not what I said. I said what I said. And it's
basically
like, stop.
but then his supporters will say, yeah, he's standing up and he's not for the politics and he's da-da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, that's not good.
I was like, also, can we discuss how a lot of his businesses failed?
Yeah, that too.
So that whole he's a businessman, I don't want him running my business.
No.
Like, nah, I'm good. And his stupid kids too. All of them is wild. No.
Yeah, it's been interesting for me just because like I have had a lot of interesting conversations with people who have voted for Trump or who were voting for him a second time. And I even had some conversations with some Black men who decided that they were going to vote for Trump.
Oh my God, that conversation is hurting my soul. Listen.
I don't know. It's just, and you know what? One guy that I spoke with literally made his decision off of a YouTube video.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh. That caught me off guard.
And so I was just kind of like, what is this video? And so it was like this viral video that a Black man made about Trump. And he sent me the link and I watched the video, and I will admit the video was very convincing if I didn't do my own research and if I didn't look into the things.
The moment you say YouTube, I knew this was not a good decision.
I wonder if y'all have seen that video, because it went viral, and now it's so weird because, you know, when you watch one type of video, then all of a sudden YouTube will start recommending similar videos to you. So because I had the unfortunate position to watch that video, now I'm being recommended all of these other videos of Black men talking about how they're voting for Trump.
I've watched a couple videos of these Black men voting for Trump, and I think the saddest part about it is just like those kind of videos, you need to post your sources. Or, I mean, there's really no need to post sources because a lot of it, it's like you listen to one person say this. Because again, I'm not trying to be funny, but most of us are middle class. We are not benefiting from any of the tax plans that Trump has presented. The only people who are benefiting from that make at least $300,000-$400,000 a year.
Yes.
The only place, like from that point up, is when you would see a difference. And as a person who does make six figures, I also do not see the benefits of Trump. We'll just leave that there.
Right.
I just be like, y'all are too broke to have this stance.
Well, it's a stance I think comes from, honestly, just not being very educated.
Yeah.
And it's weird because I find a lot of times that people vote against their own self-interest, which doesn't make sense to me. You know, it just doesn't make sense. I'm like, why would you vote against your own self-interest? Why would you vote for somebody that doesn't believe in universal health care, that when you can't afford insurance, okay? Can't afford insurance on your own, not out of pocket, not, you know, a lot of you don't have it through your jobs. Like, it just blows me. I'm just like, but it doesn't make any sense. You're literally voting against yourself.
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like we're going to have to just, like, I was telling my mom, or I was trying to explain to my mom, I was like, in 2016, I had an optimistic spirit in 2016. Was that the last one? I think that was the last one.
Yes, it was.
So in 2016, like in my mind, I just knew that there was no way we were going to pick somebody completely unqualified over somebody who was qualified. And I heard a lot of people say they hate Hillary. That's fine. But there was nothing that could justify me voting for Trump because I already knew he was a bigot.
I think Trump being elected shows the shift in America from before we actually voted for people based on their qualifications.
Yeah.
And we voted for people based on, you know, what their plan was going to be for America. With Trump's election, what I saw was the people literally are voting for a personality.
Yeah.
And people were like, being almost like
terrible.
And people also were being almost like it's almost like, you know how in America we love like the underdog. So it's like, it was this weird thing with Trump where they were like, oh, well, he's not a real politician, so that makes him better because he's not going to be like crooked like them, and he's not going to be. And then people have all their conspiracy theories about politicians and politics, and they apply that to the situation. And they're like, oh, he's completely not one of the elite, and he's different, even though he is one of the elite because he's rich. But that's
facts on facts.
Okay. And they're like, you know, he's not going to lie to us, and he's going to shake things up. I heard that a lot in 2016.
I heard that too, and I was like, shake what up? He benefits from this corrupt system more than all of us.
That he's going to really stand up for the people because he's not one of them. And I'm like,
AKA, he's going to stand up for the KKK and their families
because
he is
one of them.
Yeah.
So it was just this picture was painted of him, and of course, you know the slogan "Make American Great Again." People just
Which was
ran with
totally
that.
KKK, but go off.
So it was very interesting because it's like he became like this weird
Martyr.
underdog, and like Americans, we love an underdog. We love somebody who's like the rebel, right? We love the rebels. And so that I honestly think that's why he won, because it was like this whole persona of like he's
This
not
is
like
gonna
the other
sound
boys.
this is
Not
gonna
like the
sound
other girls.
terrible.
What?
Trump won because they would rather see a corrupt reality star, failed businessman lead the country
Than a
than
woman.
a woman.
Yep.
Especially a woman who looked like Hillary.
Yes.
Especially a woman who was cheated on like Hillary.
Right.
Like, it was like, she's more like, only in America will we put an unqualified, mediocre, failed attempt at running a business white man to rule the country. And then people get mad at us that we're asking why he's there.
Right.
Because none of us could go get a job and just be like, well, I mean, I'm not qualified, but I want to do it.
Right.
None of us would get a job.
None of us. Can you imagine? It's like, I've never done this before. I have no job experience in this. In fact, I literally have never even had a job that's even been close to what this is.
But you know,
I'm confident in myself.
I filed bankruptcy a couple of times. I have multiple discrimination charges against me, sexual harassment charges against me. But like, I could totally do this.
And you know what? Not only am I going to do this because, you know, I just feel I'm going to be the best, I'm also going to fire everyone else that's qualified that would be around me and put my family members in their place who've also never had this job or this job experience.
While also putting all of my businesses in my children's name. That way, when I'm done being president, I could just take them back, since legally I couldn't have them in my name while I was president. Like,
it's like, what? Is this reality? No, it's reality.
It's a fantasy. But that's what I'm saying. I was like, white male mediocrity hit a pinnacle in 2016.
It was a new low for our country. And it's weird too, because I feel like the rest of the world is kind of watching us. Like, I feel like y'all,
the rest of the world is watching us and being like, woo, I mean, I thought we had it bad, but y'all out here just with him. I mean, we have multiple friends that live out the country, and I've had so many of them check on me today, like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I'm just existing because that's all I can do. Like, I'm going to focus on the positives. I got my garage door opener installed this week. I feel real adult about saying this because now I just push a button. Listen,
that's amazing.
Like, yeah. Also, to all the people that voted for Kanye,
why?
Please come forward.
Why would you do that? Or like, I don't like when people write in a candidate. Like, just don't vote then.
Unfortunately, our democracy is set up for people to believe that there are only two parties that you can vote for, because those two parties have so much millions of dollars put into them that they're the ones that can like run successful campaigns. But I really would like for our country to understand that like there are other parties. There's Green Party, independents that can run. Stop putting all of your faith in two political parties that don't care about y'all. Because if y'all forgot, originally the Republicans were the ones that were trying to fight for slavery. And I put huge quotes around that because they all owned slaves back then.
Right.
And somehow after Abraham Lincoln, it made a shift to where it looked like the Democrats liked Black people. But they only need us when they need us. After that, they don't care about us. They've never cared about us. So why are we still sitting here having conversations and arguments about which party we should support? Like, how many times we gonna see them coons on Fox show up just to say their piece and then they get fired like 2 weeks after they're done?
I know. I mean, I personally think that it's going to take both parties to fail Americans epically. And I mean, they already have in many ways, but fail in the sense where it's just going to be undeniable. In order for enough people to wake up to realize that things need to change and things need to be revolutionized in the two-party system and they need to be expanded. And let's not even talk about this whole electoral college thing, because I just don't.
You know, the thing that's literally steeping in slavery.
I just don't rock with that. Like, It's insane to me. Like, I think back on the 2016 election and the fact that Hillary won the popular vote, meaning more people in our nation voted for her than they voted for Trump. Okay?
Right.
And yet she lost the election. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I had people in other nations being like, wait, what?
Yeah,
Wait, what do you mean she
it's an
won the
antiquated
popular vote,
practice.
but did not win the election? And I'm like,
I
so
keep
we got
forgetting
this
that
thing.
we have people in other countries that watch our thing. It's like, listen, the Electoral College was made
And
based
it fails us every
in
4 years.
yeah, but say in short form, it was made and used back in a time where me and Ochuole would not have even been able to vote in the first place because we were property back then, and not even full pieces of property. We were a fraction of property back then.
Because we were women. We weren't even.
Yeah, we were fractions of property and baby maker and slave makers back then. That's what we were. And they are still using that system to be the underlying determinant factor for the vote. I was like, let me get this straight. So the majority of the country was like, hey, here's what we want. And then the Electoral College was like,
no.
Nah, we're good. We want him. That work, boo.
And you know what the interesting thing is? When you ask most Americans, we still don't exactly know how the Electoral College works. I feel like we had one day of class on this in high school.
Man, I took an
never discussed
AP
again.
US history class and my teacher broke it down. And I think the more he broke it down, I guess, the more I was disgusted by it. Because again, a lot of the systems that were created back then, they were created with the idea of slavery in mind and the idea that even white women had no voice. So it's like, how do we keep evolving and how do we keep claiming an evolution in this country? Yet we hold and then they want to hold on to history and stuff. And it's like, how y'all hold on to that though?
You hold on to the wrong things.
Right. Y'all holding on to that. That's what we're holding on to. Like, cool, we got a constitution and we got amendments. Why have we not had an amendment for this yet? Like,
all I remember is that little Schoolhouse Rock song about the Electoral College.
Actually, if you really want a good breakdown, that one is a bop though.
It was good. It was good.
Listen, if it wasn't for Schoolhouse Rock, I wouldn't even know how bills were put in.
Nope. Those little catchy songs. I'm just a bill sitting up in Capitol.
Passed me a lot of history lessons because of Schoolhouse Rock. So
yes.
Schoolhouse Rock taught me a lot of things. Interjections, adjectives, all my multiplication tables.
Look, kids in school today are missing out. Missing out.
It's like, we already know our school systems are built on this idea that American history is only white history. So go ahead and save yourself some time and just go watch Schoolhouse Rock and then go pick up actual history books that tell the real story and not the ones sanctioned by the school district. And you'll be good.
Yes. Conjunction.
Junction. Yes, Amber.
What's your function?
When I lived in Japan, there was what is it called? I will answer your question in a second, Abominable. But there's a thing. It was Armed Forces Network, AFN, and there was one channel called AFN Kids. So instead of commercials, like real commercials, because what was the point of showing American commercials in Japan? We couldn't get the stuff.
Right.
They would do Schoolhouse Rock.
That's amazing.
So like, we were those kids. But Abominable ask. Oh, yes, a Texas person. Brittany, did you see those John Corinne commercials? If so, were you skeeved out? Oh, my gosh.
Okay, you have to give the background because who, what, where, and why.
I wish I could just have you guys watch it. It was that commercial. And then the other one where they were trying to make this Democrat seem like he was, like, they were like, he goes to desert drug parties. And he's trying to take away your health care. It was the wildest.
What?
I was like, desert drug parties in Texas? Where are they doing that at?
Yes. I want to go. That sounds lit.
I was like, desert drug parties.
Oh.
Why am I just learning about this through a political commercial?
Seriously.
But how do I explain? Abominable, can you give us like a brief breakdown of the John Corinne commercials? Because I don't know how to explain. Like they were.
I need answers. That's all I know.
Basically, his commercials were about rape.
Oh, she put a comment there.
Okay. Yeah, she said it better. John Corinne is the senator. Yes, and he won. By the way, people, this bastard won. They discuss women being raped. These women are telling their stories and how they were raped, and he helped pass the bipartisan bills. And then like the women, like they had the women on camera, and I swear it was like, are these women supposed to be actresses? Because like they would look at the camera in a way that it didn't look like they were like actually hurting. It just looked like they were like, this is what happened to me.
Right.
And I'm here to tell the story.
Wait, and he still won after these?
Yeah, because of him. Because of him and his job, he's making it better for me. And it's like actual rape victims will not be talking to this man.
That's so disturbing.
Because there's a whole group of senators and people who believe like, oh, well, if a woman doesn't want to be raped, she doesn't need to do this, that, or the third. Like there's a whole group, including
rape apologists.
Right. And I'm just like, oh no, Abominable said they were actually the survivors.
I cannot.
Maybe that's why they look so dead. I'm not trying to be funny, but they were
probably so uncomfortable.
Yeah, they look so afflicted to just like to be on camera. And I was just like, why would you put them on here? Is this really the platform you're pushing on? Like, I voted for bipartisan bills that help rape victims. Go me.
God.
Like, what?
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, oh my God. Between that one and the Desert Drug Party commercials, I was like, is this all we have to offer Texas? Is this it? Because I don't want to be here.
Oh my gosh.
It was if I find the link, I'll post it on Twitter because
oh my God. I never thought I would say this, but I'm just like, can we just go back to like Obama versus
No, we can't. Because if we ever have to sit down and have the conversation about how Obama actually failed Black people in terms of politics, that would be a conversation that would get us canceled.
But I don't know though. I have sympathy for him. Like,
oh, I do. Because the way that the system was created back then, the House majority was Republican. He wasn't getting anything through.
No. And it's also just like he was the president of a whole nation. And I almost feel like it would take a non-Black president to be able to actually do things for Black people. A Black president trying to do things for Black people would get doubly.
Basically, they told us, we gave you a Black president, which you still for.
Yes. What are you complaining about? No, we're not going to give you anything else.
Yo, also, I saw this clip on Instagram. Did y'all see how all the mud bucket Trump supporters was in Michigan trying to stop the count?
Yes.
I was like, y'all the ones who listened to that Carrot Top by not sending in mail order votes. Yep. Everybody else was like, screw this. I'm voting early.
Yep.
Whatever. And now y'all think, quote unquote, protesting, aka voter intimidation, I don't know. It sounds like y'all are trying to hinder the process.
They are.
Which legally none of y'all can do. So all of them should have been arrested.
I agree. And honestly, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth because I'm just like, every vote has to be counted, period.
It has to be.
And this is literally the foundation of America. Like, I don't understand why people are protesting our democracy. And that's the thing with Trump's presidency that I feel like people don't want to discuss, is how much his presidency has eroded our democracy and how a democracy is set up.
Mm-hmm.
And how he has always leaned more towards being a dictator.
Oh, yeah, no, he wants to be a dictator so bad.
And I feel like it's happening and people aren't opening their eyes to see what's going on, because 8 years ago, a decade ago, 15 years ago, you would never see people protesting Americans' votes being counted. Like, it just, like, when you say it out loud, it's just like, do you see what's happening to our democracy? It's slowly eroding it on itself. And all it takes is that one person that makes you feel like it's okay to go away from the democracy. And I'm like, this is literally what America was founded on as a nation, and y'all are not seeing how.
Because again, that particular democracy was very white male oriented.
That's true.
The moment that we decided that we were going to make democracy what we needed it to be, then it became a problem, because it's like, why do y'all feel like y'all have a voice? Like, we gave you public housing. We let you stop being slaves. Be grateful.
You know what's wild? Last night, I literally sat in my living room and thought about how before Black people were given the right to vote, women, actually women first, and then white women, and then Black people were given the right to vote. I thought to myself, wow, it literally just used to be men going to the polls.
Yes.
How terrifying.
Not only white men, specifically. White men. Only white men.
I was shaken to my core. I was like, oh my God. So that means that every president before a certain point was a complete sham. Like, no, you got to think about it. Like, yo, everybody chose before,
because they were not the American people's choice.
No, I was like,
they were the white man's choice. Yo,
think about it though. No, I said, and I'm telling y'all, I wasn't high or anything. I wasn't smoking. I wasn't even drinking. I wasn't drunk. I was just sitting there in a daze, like, half asleep. Like, yo, that's crazy.
Oh, you weren't high, but you hitting that, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah. Because I was like half asleep and I was just like, oh my God.
Well, because like I've had this conversation a million times, because they always want to celebrate feminism and all that stuff. And I'm gonna tell this story, and I know y'all gonna be like, Britney. At my job, they had this thing this year where they were celebrating 100 years of women's suffrage. And for some reason, they picked me to be on a panel of women to discuss women's suffrage and the movement and what it's done for me.
Oh, no.
So...
Oh, no. Did you burst their bubble?
We had a meeting beforehand, because they're like, if you have any questions, we're going to meet so you guys can talk. So I was like, and not to mention, I was the only Black girl picked. And I was the only one under the age of 35. Everybody else was well over, which not a problem, but So I asked the lady, her name was Jennifer. I was like, so Jennifer, why did you pick me?
Oh.
And they were like, what do you mean? I was like, why did you pick me? And she was like, oh, well, you actually came highly recommended. You were in the leadership program, and we were told that you have a lot to say and that you would be a good pick to represent women. And I was like, well, I don't represent all women. I represent Black women. And we weren't given the right to vote during women's suffrage.
I was about to say, this is so awkward.
Right. And I was just like, and apparently they saw my name and they didn't know that I was Black. And
yeah, I was about to say that too.
Yep. The lady, she didn't say it blatantly, but the way that it came off, she did not realize that I was Black. And then she was like, well, women's suffrage was for everybody. I was like, if you want to believe that lie, you can. But when I get on the mic, I'm going to say what I just said to you.
Facts. I mean, how can you deny literal history? Do we need to get Justin back?
I don't know. We might have to bring Justin back one of these days. But like, she was like, well, I feel like you should figure out a nicer way to say it. And I was like, there is no nice way to say it. I was like, we are built on a nation created by white men, supported by their white wives, who did nothing but use us for the cause and drop us off when they were done. The same thing that they did in 2016 when 52% of y'all voted for the person that oppresses me.
Oh,
so like, why are we here? Needless to say, that afternoon, I got an email saying that they're going to reschedule the women's talk.
Oh my God. They're like, we don't want this smoke.
From what I heard, that talk definitely went on, and they switched me with another white girl, and her name was Britney, and I guess they made sure she was white. Listen, because I was like, no, you're not gonna sit here and tell me that I should be excited for something that wasn't made for me.
But
that was like me being like, talk about the American Revolution. Why?
Here's the irony, though. by them doing what they did, by going behind your back, lying to your face, switching you out with a white woman with your same name, is literally everything that they were telling you wasn't true that you were saying.
Everything that I said, like,
I'm
it was
just
like she heard me, thought, oh no, this little black girl's gonna be a little combative. Let me replace her with somebody more friendly. And it's like,
next time, you would have just lied in the meeting and been like, oh my gosh, like,
man, I would have drugged that to the ground. They'd have been so mad at me after that panel.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you'd lie to them in the meeting, and then when you actually get to the panel, be like, look, listen.
Next time, I know to do that. I was way too honest too soon, but next time, I would more than happily set it off on a panel. If you're going to sit here and try to pretend like it included me, just so you could say your panel was diverse, nah, I'm dragging it out. And I think that's probably why you get invited to be on panels and I don't.
You got to pull a them on them. You got to be all like, you know what? I'm so honored to be here today and to be included in this women's suffrage. But as I sit here and look out at this crowd, I realize this movement was never meant for me. And then you have to go in. You start off good and they're like, okay. And then you hit them.
They would try to rip that mic out my hand if I did a segue like that. What?
They're like, turn her mic off.
They would be like, bloop. I'll be like, I can still talk without the mic. Thank you. My ancestors run through this mouth.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh. No. Listen, dear BookNet Fest and all the other book situations, y'all know y'all want our podcast on one of your little events. So go ahead and call us.
Yes.
You can pick the topic. You can't censor us, but you can pick the topic.
Exactly. Our emails are open and our
DMs. Always open.
You got to pull a them on them. You're like, okay, so I've learned from the white patriarchy how to scam.
Oh, that's pulling a them on them? Just straight out calling them. Just straight out call them scammers. But like, I learned from y'all.
I learned from the best. Let's go.
Please. It's so bad now. I got a message. I don't know. I forgot her name, but I don't want to put her name out there without permission anyway. But she was like, yeah, Britney, I encountered this person who said something. And like, all I could think about was one of your TED Talks on the podcast. And I was like, oh no.
Oh God.
I was like, sometimes I don't even remember what I say in those little TED Talks. Okay.
Oh my gosh. We have to go find all your TED Talks in the lives and then just do like a yearly roundup of all your TED Talks.
Let's, because sometimes I just, like I get a little riled up and I can read somebody in one breath and then go back as if I forgot. I don't remember what I say half the time.
Oh my goodness.
Unless it's like something that's been bothering me for a really, really long time. I can't. Amber said, after last BookNet Fest, they need y'all for a better diversity panel.
Ooh. Zing. It's going to be interesting though, because technically this next BookNet Fest, hopefully, fingers crossed, actually happens this next year. Who knows though? Who knows how this?
I actually don't want to be on not one diversity panel.
Really?
I do not.
Huh.
Because if the only time you can think about adding me to your thing and blessing your life with my presence is to talk about diversity, you haven't been hearing anything I've been saying since we started these podcasts. We are more than the color of our skin.
I would like to see diversity panels take a shift from just people's skin color to other types of diversity. That would actually be more interesting.
Yeah, diversity of thought is a thing that we don't get to talk about.
No.
For God's sakes, there's a whole community of people just wanting you to gender them correctly.
Right.
That sounds like diversity, but instead it's like, let's get the Black girls on the diversity panel. We know they don't have as many subscribers as the 3 white girls they put on the panel, but like, she'll be there. It's like, no, how about you put me on a panel where we're talking about fantasy? Put me on a panel where we're talking
yes.
about starting your own business. Like, put me on
That'd
one
be
of the
great.
panels where like I can actually talk about something, because I'm not going to sit here and have a woe is me party on your diversity panel. I'm actually going to rip you to shreds for having the diversity panel in the first place and not just diversifying your panels.
Ooh. Yes, let that be the ultimate diversity panel.
Right.
Diversify
we don't need diversity
every panel.
Like, right. There's too many people in the world for you to justify having a all white panel. Like, for nothing.
Yes.
There's no reason. There are so many communities of people that do we're focusing on books. For God's sakes, if I said, dang, I need a romance reader, I could find one of every representation.
Yes, absolutely.
So there's just screw diversity panels, screw diversity chats, screw all of that, mainly because the government is real good at claiming diversity. Let me tell y'all what they do for diversity training in the government. We watch an MLK video.
You're lying.
I kid you not.
You are lying.
Girl, listen, they'll have diversity moments and it's you watching a VHS tape of the Red Tails.
Wait,
or Betty Ford. Yes, that's what the government considers diversity training. So as a person who has been like, I literally was like, well, if we're going to watch movies, there's a PBS documentary about the Black Panthers.
Oh.
They're like, well, we want to do, no. Like, are we having diversity conversations or not? Because
you're having surface level,
right? We're having, we care. And again, like, don't get me wrong, MLK did a lot for Black people, but MLK was also a cheating, lying husband. So, like, there are other people we can talk about just one time in our lives, because we're not going to talk about all the girls he was sleeping with. We just gonna keep talking about his dream.
Oh no, Britney, don't drag MLK.
I'm not dragging him. I'm just saying, like, you ever realize that when people talk about diversity, they want to quote Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman, MLK. They don't want to quote Malcolm X, James Baldwin. They don't want to quote them because they came with the same conversation that MLK was having, but it wasn't nicely wrapped in a bow for them.
Yeah, it wasn't sure.
So they don't want to acknowledge it being the same thing. It's like, I don't understand.
To me, and this is going to be controversial, but to me, MLK is like the I don't see color side of diversity. And well, I mean, he literally said one day, like, I want us not to be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. That's like the number one quote.
Oh yes, when somebody goes, I don't see color. Get your eyes checked. It's a medical condition.
Quote. They're like, well, my parents raised me to look at the content of people's. That's literally the number one thing they say. So to me,
I always tell them, like, do you ever look at somebody and think the content of their character? Do you ever or do you see the Black person, think not to talk to them and go find somebody else to look at the content of their character?
Now, I'm not saying don't misconstrue my words. I'm not saying that that's what he believed. I'm saying that's what he's become the figurehead of. Is like of the whole, I don't see color. I was raised to think of the content of people's character. I see everyone as the same, blah, 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 blah. And then I think when it comes to Malcolm X, James Baldwin, Angela Davis, they're seen more as like, they're so loud about their Blackness. They're like, see me.
Yeah.
I'm Black and I'm proud. And so it makes people uncomfortable because it's like the other side of the coin in a sense, because they're not saying, don't see my color. They're like, please see my color because I'm freaking proud of who I am. I'm proud to be Black. And it does make me different. And the difference is amazing. And I'm just asking you to treat me like a human being.
Yeah. I mean,
so I think people just get a little bit scared from that because it's so bold. And then MLK is more palatable to them because it's like, I want us all to be treated by who we are inside. And it's like, okay, I can take that.
Meanwhile, I'm just like, leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. That ain't too hard.
When did Mind Your Fucking Business go out of style?
Oh my God.
I don't understand. Like, so many people are just so nosy. Like, so many of those like Karen videos. I'm just like,
yo, did you see the one where, like, I guess it was a video. Oh Lord, Justin's in the chat, y'all. There was a video where it was this older white lady, like, trying to tell this lady that the sign in her yard was offensive because it said "fuck Trump." So she proceeds to tell the woman that she's going to make sure it gets removed and da 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 da. And the lady's like, why are you here? Leave my yard. And she's
Leave
like,
my yard.
there are kids in this neighborhood and they shouldn't have to see that. And there's like a lady down the street that's like, what's going on? And she's like, she has this very offensive sign in her yard. And the lady's like, well, what does it say? She said, it says F-U-C-K Trump. And she was like, it got silent. And it was like, well, yeah, fuck Trump. Leave her yard alone. Why are you there, Karen? No one asked you to be there, Karen. And she's like yelling down the street. I was like, I'm her. I don't know who she is, but that's the kind of neighbor that I strive to be, where it's like,
Right.
why are you inserting yourself in a place that no one asked you to be? Like, go somewhere. You are in my property. I want everybody to know if you ever find out where I live and you step foot on my property, you are going to meet sunshine. And if sunshine shoots something through your chest, that's your problem, not mine. I'm not having conversations with people.
Amen.
I've seen too many videos of Black people recording and having conversations. I would set that recording up, go get my gun, and all you would hear is because I'm going for chest. Like, how dare you? Stop giving these people this false thing that somehow they can, like, you are making it seem like they are some kind of authority figure. And yes, my shotgun's name is Sunshine. Anyway.
Love it.
Justin just said, wait, you named it Sunshine? I hope to get another gun and I'm going to name her Delilah. So I'm going to have Delilah and Sunshine.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Like my friend, one of my best friends named hers Keisha, and I cannot stop laughing when she be like, I got my girl Keisha with me. And I'm like,
no. That's amazing.
I was like, it's because of her that I was like, yo, I think for the most part, it's hard for me to talk about Tomi Adeyemi. Like, I see this comment from Miss WOC Reader, and it says,
wait, what's going on?
I remember Tomi Adeyemi telling a story about the police trying to barge into her home, and she tried to break down racism to them. Well,
first of all, we can unpack that in a moment. Has she said anything about SARS?
The only thing she posted was that there was some show that she helped do. She put some kind of writing or something in it for Netflix. I think that was it. But my issue with that Tomi Adeyemi story is that, like, stop pretending like you're not a dark-skinned Black girl. They wouldn't have given you the option to explain anything to them.
I don't even want to talk about Tomi Adeyemi because I'm gonna go off.
Yeah, what I need from everyone, especially the women, in this conversation, to understand like three major things, especially if you are a Black girl. One, you do not get the same privileges as white women. Two, if you live alone, you need to figure out how to protect yourself. Amen. If that means you always keep a stove full of hot grits, I don't know, but you like need to always protect yourself. Three, get you a Keisha, a Delilah, or a Sunshine, or all of them,
or all three.
Take yourself out. Like, gun ranges have ladies' nights. If y'all didn't know that, a lot of them have ladies' nights where you can go shoot for free. So go on, get you together. And the third most important thing, and this actually goes to everyone in the chat, you need to know your rights.
Yes.
There is no way I'm letting a cop barge into my door. I will talk to the cop from my Ring doorbell. I will not even open the door. Opening the door gives them an excuse to claim access.
It does.
Like, one day we might bring my sister on here. My sister likes to talk about things you should look up. She is a lawyer, so she is not going to offer you lawyer advice because that's not her jurisdiction. That's what she's going to say. I'm just going to let y'all know. But like, y'all, we need to learn our rights. I'm not trying to be funny, but if anything in the last 4 years have taught me is that being a good person don't get you nowhere.
I was about to say, ain't gonna do shit for you.
Yeah, unless you are the right color, the right gender, the right orientation,
the right aesthetic,
the right hairstyle. Like, it's too many things that you would have to prove to be right in order for it to save your life. Whereas if you know your rights, it's just like, I'm not saying knowing your rights will stop you from getting killed, because we all know that's not the case. But knowing your rights will stop some of them from trying you. Because there's a cop that lives in my neighborhood that at one point was following me when I would take walks around my neighborhood. And I literally copied down the number from his vehicle and the license plate, took a video, and reported it to his precinct and said I wanted to file charges of harassment and stalking.
Ooh.
Like, they can only get you if you let them. They think a lot of us are stupid. They think a lot of us are naive, and they think a lot of us just don't know anything. Like, challenge.
It's like hunting prey to them. They look at us as prey.
Yeah, and it's 2020 has been utter boo-boo.
That's true.
So if y'all don't do anything after this fun time, I suggest that you start looking up your rights, specifically in the state and county that you are in, because not all rights apply in every country or in every state. So you need to look it up specifically to the state that you are in. And I'm petty. I have it printed out. It's in the glove compartment of my car.
Petty.
When I ask him, can I reach into my glove compartment to get my insurance information? I also pull out that slip. I'd be like, hello, officer. Can I please have your name and badge number? I would like to verify that you are actually a cop.
Facts.
Like, yeah. Ooh, abominable. You straddle Harris and Fort Bend County. I straddle Harris and Brazoria. So that should tell you where I'm at. Brazoria County is hickety hick.
I was about to say, it sounds racist.
It's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm glad that we had this live. I'm glad that we got a chance to laugh because I feel a little better than how we started.
I know. It's kind of helping to take my mind off things, honestly.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking like, yo, when I get off of here, what am I going to do? Also, it's cuffing season, so go ahead and get y'all somebody to cuff with.
I cannot. That was so random, Britney. What? Where did that even come from?
Listen, sometimes, like, it's been real lonely in 2020. Like,
can we talk about how trash all of these dating apps are? Can we?
Oh my gosh, can we? Oh, we're here.
Can we please?
Let's sit in this. Let's talk about this.
Literal trash. First
of all, which ones are we starting with first?
I don't know. Now I'm doing Hinge. It's a little bit better than the other apps.
That commercial on Hulu.
Because Hinge, their little catchphrase is like the app that was meant to be deleted, and they're not like the typical, they're not like the typical Tinder or the other ones where they're very like boring. Like you fill out your profile and it's very just like, what do you do? How old are you? Blah, blah, blah. This Hinge is really interesting because it asks cool questions like
I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat. Keep going.
It has like prompts, right? It prompts you for different things. Like you could put in like your love language if you wanted to. You has like different prompts like felt cute, might delete later, and then you can upload a picture, or like create a caption for this photo, or like what's on my mom's refrigerator, and you upload a picture. So it's a little bit more interesting than the normal dating app, but it's still trash. It's just more interesting trash. It's like sparkly trash. It's the trash in the nicer trash cans on the good side of town.
No,
trash that's like in the hood and like the beat up ass.
And is the recyclables? You can put Hinge in the recycle bin,
right? But still trash.
Oh
I just I just really don't like online dating, and I know it's like the way of the world now and stuff like that. But I still really struggle with it because I feel like there's so much more to attractiveness than what someone looks like in a photo.
Yeah.
And,
plus, let's be honest. Some people can pose really well because when you meet them in person, you be like, where did this head come from? That was not in the photo.
Or you're like, you are balding, sir. Like when they wear a hat in every picture, I'm like,
oh, I'm sorry. I truly believe that if I see a profile of a guy and every profile picture is him in a hat, I know he got a busted head.
Especially if he's like in his swim trunks, like at the lake or at the beach, and he has a hat.
Facts, but that's so true though. It's the same way. Oh my gosh. I quit dating apps a long time ago because they just did not work well with my spirit. I miss dating. But like the old version of dating where like
Yes,
you met
that's what I
somebody
want.
and you
That's what I want.
exchange phone numbers and like you plan to meet somewhere like a dinner or
Yes.
something. Like
Yes.
you get to talk and figure it out and you get to see
And
their
like
mannerisms and
people
how they act in person.
also, can we talk about how people didn't like really ghost people as much back then, and
Oh
like they
my
actually
gosh, that.
showed up.
Why?
And like the reason I'm having such a hard time on the dating apps is like I feel like the guys who are attracted to me on the app, I would not be attracted to them in real life. So it's like a weird mismatch where it's like they seem attractive on
Kind of.
paper,
Yeah.
kind of, but I'm just kind of like, for me, I'm attracted to the energy of someone, like their aura and their voice and the swagger and like everything. Like it's not just about the way that they look. So it's just really hard for me to engage with a photo and like through like messaging back and forth. It's so hard. And then also I'm really confused by why like so many white supremacist type
Oh
dudes
my
want
gosh.
to
I'm
slide
so
into
glad
my
you said it. I
DM.
was about to say that next.
Slide
Like, can we
into
talk
my
about how
messages.
many racist white men be on there trying to get their chocolate fantasy on?
It's so weird. Like I'm just
Oh,
like
it's
I don't even
so
respond to
weird.
them anymore because it's just creepy. I'm just
It
like,
always cracks me up because, you would see their picture and you click on their profile and it's like white supremacist. And you're like, why are you in my inbox if
it's
you're a
bizarre.
white
Like
supremacist? And it's like,
I'm just like,
oh, wow.
what made you feel like this is going to be a good idea?
Right.
What made you think
I'm just
this
like,
is
what
going to
is
work?
happening? Or I'm sorry, y'all. In Houston, the number one people that be in my inbox on dating websites are those super aggressive Nigerian men.
No, really?
Yes.
I will say they are so persistent. There is this one dude, he's not on any of my dating apps, he's on my Instagram. To this day, it has been 13 months. He still messages me every day.
To say what?
I have not responded not one time.
You get a hey beautiful every day from somebody
It's
you don't want.
daily. I'm like, what is happening? And this
Not
is on
the
my
hey
personal
beautiful.
Instagram. It's on my personal Instagram, which I don't even really use that much.
Right.
So whenever I log on, I'm like, I see like, 103 messages and it's from the past 103 days.
And it's all him?
It's all him. They're like,
No.
hello, hi, please respond. Please respond. Hope you're having a good day. Just like,
He has to get blocked, honey. I mean, I know I don't use that a lot, but he'd have to get blocked.
it's
That's
just intense.
insane. Just wow. Is that really how we're doing things? No,
One day she's gonna be a lonely old woman.
right.
She'll
He said
finally
as long as he keeps letting his presence be known, that one day where she weak and vulnerable, she's gonna come swipe you up.
right. Oh my god.
That is just wow. That's just too much for me. Like
It's a lot. It's a lot.
wow. I mean, at least he's not coming at you crazy, but
No, he's very
after
polite.
a while, it's just like
It's hilarious in the sense that it's just the consistency. I'm like, this is insane.
nah. I remember there was one guy. He was the worst part was sometimes from the dating profiles you'll see them in real life, like if you go
Yeah.
out places. And I
Yeah.
just remember it was this one guy, this one Nigerian dude, and he was like, oh, I treat you well. Like I'm always in VIP. Like I'll take you to VIP with me because I'm an engineer and da 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 da. And I was just like, okay.
You're like, me too. So
Yeah. My response is always me too. And he's like, oh, well, I mean, that's good. And it's just like, okay. Well, I
that's like
remember,
all he has to offer.
yeah. Well, me and my homegirl went out one night and we saw him.
Oh my goodness.
And he saw me. And I was like, Father God, this cannot be happening. And what did he do when he came up to me?
What did he do?
Offered to take me to his VIP section.
Oh God.
I was like, no. Literally grabbed a random stranger in the bar, told him dude was bothering me. Can I pretend I'm with you? And he said yes.
Damn.
Like,
I am so sorry that happened.
I was just like, yo, this is too much. That's another reason why I don't like dating websites.
Well, I don't like when a man thinks that they can wear you down.
Yes.
Something about that to me just really smacks of like, you will also abuse me, like behind, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, because you're not
it's a
accepting
red
no.
flag. It's a red
Yeah.
flag. It's like, I can control you, I can wear you down, I can change your mind. Like, all of those type of behaviors are send me running. Like, I'm just like,
And you're running for the hills. You're just not with it. You're like,
no,
nope.
I'm like, leave me alone. Like, I feel like men think it's like sexy or like what they've been watching or who they've been listening to, but they feel like, oh yes, I can change your mind. And you know what's interesting? Because I don't mind reading it in like a romance novel,
Oh.
but it doesn't translate well to real life. You know what I'm saying? Like those romance novel dudes that are very like overbearing and that are like, I'm gonna hunt you down like you're a
Well, I mean,
wild
because it's a
hare.
romance novel, so you already see the fiction in it.
Exactly. So I'm just like, this is all good and well in a book form, but it doesn't translate in real life. It translates into you potentially being an abuser. Okay. And
Yeah.
I can't.
It's one thing if it's like, I like you, but like, I'm not ready to be in a relationship. It's a whole other thing where you're like, yeah, no, I'm not interested. If I
Right.
say I'm not interested, leave me alone.
Leave me alone,
Again,
please.
Delilah and Sunshine are ready.
Stay ready.
Stay ready.
Oh.
Yo, Miss WOC Reader asked, the holidays are coming up. Who is reading holiday themed books this year?
Mm.
I never, ever read. I don't think I've ever read a Christmas themed book.
I have. I mean, they're mostly romances, but I don't know. Like, I'm not really in the holiday spirit yet. Like, I was like, maybe
Neither.
I need to start listening to some Christmas music or holiday music. Maybe I need to decorate my house. I don't know what it is, but I'm still in shock about the fact that it's November already. Like, it just
To
doesn't
think about how
feel.
slow yet how fast this year has been, I totally understand that.
And I can't believe next month is December. And so I'm just still shell shocked and I'm not quite in the holiday spirit
It's
just
hard
yet.
for me to get in the holiday spirit before Black Friday because I'm doing nothing but Black Friday prepping and pre-order packaging. Like my brain doesn't have the capacity to um do holiday, but I also haven't looked for any holiday books either. Normally I try to find like one, but I haven't successfully done that in a minute. Oh, Miss WSC Reader Justin said he's in COVID spirit this season. Help us.
Mm,
I got a holiday themed mystery anthology full of short stories by authors of color for 99 cents. It
that's
even has
nice.
Thanksgiving stories in it. Feel free to drop the title of that at any point in time in the chat so I can put it on the screen for other people who might be interested.
Yes.
I for some reason I have to be in the mood to read an anthology. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the past couple years they've been coming out with some good Black anthologies. Like
There are a bunch of good ones now. Yeah.
yeah, I'm enjoying them, but I have to be in the mood to read them because I am one of those people that I feel like short stories are a tease.
Mm.
Like I know you have to have a certain skill to be able to write short stories, which is fine. But to me, if I get a short story that's really good and it ends, I'm like, so why is this a short story?
Yeah, you want
Where
more.
is my whole story? Stop playing with me. I will never like again, I will keep saying this. Amory's story in A Phoenix First Must Burn. I was genuinely shocked that Amory wrote it, one. And then two, I was like, but like, what happens to the girls?
That's so funny.
So
You're
yeah.
like, why would you tease me like
Yeah, I
this?
find them to be a tease. Oh, okay, hold on. The anthology is called Festive Mayhem 10 Stories of Holiday Mystery, Crime, and Suspense. Okay,
Ooh.
that sounds a little like not so holiday. I kind of want to read, I like mystery crime type story. That might actually hold my attention.
It sounds like there's something in it for everybody.
Yeah. I think that
But
might be a really good one to check out if somebody is interested. They're short stories, which means you don't have to read a whole novel. If you just want to read a little bit a day, you get
uh-huh.
10 of them. And it's 99 cents. Can't really beat that.
We are gonna be in a new year in 2 months.
Oh my gosh. You know what's also funny when I think about the fact that we're actually moving into another year, I think about, because you know how normally at the end of the year, it's like, what have you accomplished? Like,
Yes.
what are your goals? And da 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 da. And I'm just like, I
This is not
survived.
the year for that. This
Right.
is
Like,
not the year for
I
that.
survived. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a win. Did I actually accomplish some other things this year that I'm very proud of myself for? Yes, absolutely. But the main thing I'm proud of is that somehow I didn't end up balled up in a closet most of the year from anxiety attacks. Or like, did I gain a bunch of weight this year? Yeah, but like I'm not dead. Because listen, it's been a lonely year. People have had to sit and face demons that they have been trying to just ignore and push away to the side. But because we've had to spend so much time with ourselves this year was rough. So I'd be like, listen, we made it. We survived.
I'm just grateful that no one that I love and know personally was affected by the pandemic in the sense that they lost their lives. So I'm so grateful for that because I've heard some horror stories.
Yeah.
And the people that have lost friends and family and loved ones. And that's really tragic because when we started this year in January, nobody was thinking that their mom wasn't going to be here or their brother wasn't going to be here because of a freaking virus. So I'm very grateful for that. And I was just thinking, like, I think the reason why I'm not in the Christmas spirit and this yet, I'm going to try to force myself to get there. Or
Nah,
like
I'm
this
back
year
to
feels so
Thanksgiving.
surreal is because every year there's always like things that you look back on to commemorate the year. Like, oh yeah, in June I went here and in July this happened and my family got together for this and this birthday party was this. And we don't have any of that for this year.
None.
Like none. There's no like trips or special occasions
Memories.
or parties or get-togethers or like events or concerts. Like there's literally nothing.
We didn't even get to meet, like you and I didn't even get to meet up again this year. Like,
no, there's
I got
literally
to do
nothing.
0 trips. Y'all know normally around this time I'm out the country. Like,
Yes.
I have, I mean, like,
like this year is gonna pass by in our memories like some weird fog. Like it's gonna be like a blur.
But this is the year that's gonna be in our history books, though. Like it's gonna be a blurb in kids' history books.
It's like 2020. Do you remember that year? Nothing happened except the horrible pandemic. But yeah.
Like 50, like we had the pandemic, like 60 freaking hurricanes.
Right. I'm done with Justin. He said you guys haven't been partying. Can we just discuss how influencers and celebrities were all up and down our timelines telling us to wear a mask or wear a piece of shit and don't go anywhere.
So
and yet they're out here
about celebrities.
And they're out here having parties, birthday parties, going on vacation.
We don't talk about celebrities.
I'm just like, y'all
let's
hypocrites.
talk about Kanye's wife.
Oh no, not Kim Kardashian. What she do now?
You. Oh my God! Listen, this dust bucket posted on Twitter. After 2 weeks of having my family quarantined,
oh, I saw that.
I moved. We went to a private island to celebrate my birthday, and I was like, "It must be nice to be rich."
Well, it's like I'll be damned, but I'm still gonna celebrate my birthday. I know none of y'all this year got to celebrate a goddamn thing,
right?
But I will be celebrating my 40th birthday.
I was like, this is the type of. I was like, this is the. These are the kind of. These people. Them in that bracket. Them the ones that need to be taxed.
I agree.
They got too much extra money because while we're at home celebrating via Zoom and eating cupcakes by ourselves for this year, she got to fly her whole private family. Like, no. I mean, I already don't like the Kardashians, so that's also a thing. Like, I call them the Kardashians.
Here's my thing. This is how I feel about it. Okay. I'm not going to hate on you for being rich and being able to do things that other people can't do. But why would you publicize it? If I was a celebrity and I was rich enough that in a fucking global pandemic, I could fly my entire family to another like
private island,
then you would never know. There would be not a picture, not a story, not a whiff. Like everybody would have to sign NDAs. Everybody would be held to secrecy. I would not be posting stories about it and photos about it.
I would Beyonce them so quick.
nobody would know. And then maybe like
Beyonce be having whole family events and don't
yes,
post them for like 3 years.
that would be me. It'd be like 10 years later in my tell-all memoir. Oh yeah, during the pandemic I did this. But
Right?
I wouldn't be putting it on social media because it's not right. Like it's not okay. It's just not okay. You have to take more responsibility as a public figure. Like it's just not okay. And that's the part that gets me. Just like I think Kendall Jenner had a birthday party and invited like 200 guests and nobody was wearing masks. It's her 25th birthday, so she was being dragged about that. And it's just like, why is this in the news? Like why is this in the media? Why weren't people signing NDAs? Like why do you have to publicize this? I don't
Yeah.
understand it. We're still in a pandemic.
It's the publicizing it part that gets me, because I'm like, how detached do you have to be to do that? Like, you want attention that bad that you're ready, you're like, well, any attention is good. They're gonna drag me, but like, I'm gonna be all over the news.
That's the part that just makes me lose all respect. It's like, so you really just don't give a fuck about anybody but yourself. Is what
Yeah,
you're telling me.
we over here trying to care about each other,
I know.
just trying to make it in this world, man.
I know. I'm just like, it's so weird now because like to me, the idea of being in a room with, 100 or so people and no one's wearing a mask like shakes me to my core. Like I'm just like, oh my God, like the anxiety.
No, it's when they post a picture and it's like trying to play Where's Waldo with the mask. Like you are
Oh
legit
yeah.
like trying to find somebody wearing a mask in the photo. And it'd be a room full of people. I'm just like, oh my God. And they're not the ones that are going to get the COVID. No, they're going to go somewhere else and pass that on to somebody
That's
who wasn't.
why it's fucked up because they can afford the best healthcare. That's what people don't understand. These people can afford the best healthcare money has to buy. Okay.
Yep.
9 times out of 10, they will have their own ventilator. I'm sure they'll be taking it off somebody else, but they will have their own. And there's going to be people out here losing their lives behind them because they're going to be the ones spreading it to people who can't have their own ventilators and who can't
Yep.
have their own private doctors and private suites and hospitals and all this stuff.
Must be nice.
Must be nice. But yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, let me see. We've been having this fun chat for an hour and 20 minutes.
Yes.
Which y'all know what that means. We're going to start winding this down.
Yes. I do have a question for y'all in the chat. What next would you like us to tackle when it comes to the topic of colorism?
Oh, yeah.
Because we've been trying to figure out what our next colorism segment would be and what to focus on. So what would y'all find interesting? Just leave it in the chat.
Yeah, because we were thinking, the first colorism one was very broad and just trying to bring our personal experiences with just being a person of color into the conversation. But we were thinking maybe like colorism and dating. Ooh, colorism and featureism on BookTube.
Oh, yes, gonna go
film and TV casting representation. Ooh,
that's a good one.
I mean, I was about to say something totally reckless.
What?
I'm about to be like, Ted, now if we talking about TV casting and representation, it's gonna be Amandla and Yara.
Oh no, I'm so tired of seeing them. Like, I literally just
I'm
want
tired
to write.
of seeing them when it says dark skinned black girl with 4C hair. That's what I'm tired of seeing them.
I'm just tired of seeing them, period. Like, I hire anybody else. Like, I literally just want to write a message to all casting directors in Hollywood. Anybody else.
There are plenty of young, dark-skinned girls employed.
I'm like, I know y'all can find somebody.
Somebody.
That's not them, please.
I do like the colorism and featureism on BookTube situation, but the problem with that is I don't blame the people who are profiting off of this.
Yes.
And so we would have to figure out a way to have that conversation without making it seem like it's their fault because it's not. Like, they're just benefiting from the system.
Yeah, so maybe we can invite somebody that fits that.
Yeah, we would probably need some special guests because
Oh, you mean like a panel?
Oh my God, we could have a panel. I'm so excited.
Stop. Oh God.
I mean, we could try to figure it out because the other choice that we were gonna have was colorism and dating.
Yes.
Within the Black community.
I feel like that's gonna be really intense.
Though I'll say the problem with that is it's so many groups you'd have to like include in that conversation. And it's just like
we'd have to really narrow it down and make it specific to, you know, ourselves, essentially.
Yeah, because
our
like,
own experiences.
Obviously, we want to include men. We want to include we want to include a diverse group of people.
So I think what Brittany and I are starting to realize is these colorism conversations are going to include more people.
Yes, they have to.
And we'll just have to figure out what that looks like moving forward.
Yeah, to be honest, you guys might not see another colorism conversation until January, just because
got to get organized.
If we are gonna have like multiple guests, we need to make sure that we figure out a time that's good for everybody, because some of the people I have in mind are in different time zones.
Yes.
So that means like we got to figure that out. Like there's going to be some logistics that have to go into it. So you guys we might not be able to have another colorism conversation until January. Because that first colorism conversation was difficult, and it was just 4 of us.
I know. It was pretty intense.
So because we have a light bright, you know, in our lovely Troy, and then there's me and Ochuole, and then we had Justin, who is cis male. Like again, we covered what 3 categories just with 4 of us. That's not enough. So it's a lot that has to go into consideration. Because I like the colorism conversation. I feel like it was received really well. But yeah,
I would like to expand it. Like, I would like to have more of a group discussion and include more voices and have it a little bit more organized.
Yeah.
So we will definitely come back to it and expand it and make it a little bit more inclusive.
And then once we get the idea, the handle on the panel situation, like we'll be able to go into other Black topics, other community topics. Justin, don't do this.
I know. I saw his comment and I was like, I cannot.
Don't do this, Justin. But yeah, we'll be able to jump into other topics that like in the Black community when we get this group discussion down, because and we also noticed that a lot of people feel more comfortable when their face isn't being shown.
Yes.
So it's a lot of things you got to consider to give y'all a show worth watching without repeating the stuff we've already done. So colorism in Black books. Ooh. I feel like we would have to read, like, make sure we have a list of like at least 100 books to fully have that conversation. Because
I know. I just feel like it would just be me dragging street lit covers.
You told me that. I was like, unless you want to hear Ochuole talk about street lit.
Like, you told me in the description she was dark skinned. Why am I looking at a light skinned, racially ambiguous woman on this cover?
Ooh. Them honey skin women be out here.
Is this the only model that you can find?
And that's just the cover. We haven't even.
The character's name is Mahogany Brown.
Not Mahogany Brown. What a name to say I'm dark skinned.
She is described as being a chocolate girl.
Oh,
why?
Snap.
Oh, this is a common occurrence, okay?
We might have to make that one a fun one, because some of these deserve to be dragged heavily, and that is hilarious. I feel like the colorism in Black books might be a fun one, because We all read enough as a group, including the audience. We read enough to where we could actually get that going.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, that's all from us today.
Yes. Brittany, you want to make the announcements of our upcoming stuff?
Hold on. How about I pulled it up and then clicked off of it? So if you guys haven't been on our Instagram or our Twitter, I highly recommend you follow us on one of those. On Twitter, it's Black Prose Book Club. And on YouTube and Twitter, it is Black Prose Club. Our next event will be our live show on Sunday, November 15th with a special guest.
We're so excited about this guest.
You do not understand, like, we've been waiting for this person.
We have been waiting for this for is it over a year now?
We've been waiting for this for a minute. So we will be announcing more information in regards to that particular live show closer to the date. It's the same time it always is. That's 6:30 Eastern. I think I accidentally forgot to put that on the actual
On the
announcement thing. And then we have another podcast potentially, but it's to be addressed because this is the holiday season, so we might only just do the live show this month, but we do have other things on Patreon. If you're interested, you can find us over on Patreon at Black Prose Club. And let's see. Oh, don't forget, Troy is also known as Inkfleur Studios. I just got this super cute acrylic pen from her today.
Ooh.
So you should definitely head over there. I know she's going to have some cute Christmas stuff coming out. So you do need to follow her to make sure you get that information. My planner, round 2 is live and will be going until the 21st of this month. Because it's going for such a long time as requested by some people, it will not be shipped out until after Christmas because, like I said, my first priority is pre-order 1, and then I will start working on pre-order 2 as the time persists. So if you want to check it out, www.melanineclectic.com.
Yes. And I am busy with NaNoWriMo this month, so I'm not online as much as I would like, but you can follow me at Instagram at Ohshereads_, and I'm on YouTube, Ohshereads. And also, I'm going to be starting to post vlogs on my vlog channel. For those of you that don't know, I have a vlog channel. I do. It's Ohshe Vlogs. So if you'd be interested in seeing some more introspective commentary type videos from me, then you can go ahead and subscribe because I have a few going up within the next few weeks.
Fancy.
And I don't do Twitter, but I'm there. I don't.
Just follow the book club on Twitter. You'll be fine.
Yeah, just follow the book club.
Don't forget to thumbs up this video. Share it if you like it. And
yes, please.
Until the next time, guys, have a fantastic night. Don't forget, self-care is important right now.
Yes. Don't forget to take care of yourself. Do what you can to distract yourself. If it's not helping you to stay tuned in to the news outlets, then by all means, don't do that. And we will catch y'all on the other side. We're going to make it through.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Have a great